Oh yeah. Let me share this with you here. This is the parse method on the parser, and there are 3 options as you can see there. Let me share my screen. I think it's going to be easier. So there are 3 options here, right? And these 3 options are from JSON schema ref parser library. And if I'm not mistaken, that the reference or resolve, let's try to find it. There is, where is it? I remember it was there. Oh no, wait, it's not in the options, it's in the reference. Yeah, let me try it just to find this. Oh yeah, it's not that one. It's actually the path option. I abstracted it away. So yeah, it's here. Shit, I'm very tired. So you have this option here that you can pass to the parser to tell him to tell the parser which one is the current directory, right? Or the path of the not current directory, actually the path of the document, because it might not be simple to guess, like or it might not be possible to guess, because guessing the current path of a file is possible. Guessing the current path of a URL is also possible. But if you're rendering, what you're doing is not rendering. What you're parsing is a string. There's no path. You know, this string is living nowhere. It's not hosting any file, right? So that's why we introduce this path option. And as I can see, we are not using it on the generator, right? See.
Yeah, I think there was an issue with this. I fixed something around it.
Yeah, I don't know why. I remember that we had this issue, and I don't know. Let me try to find it. So you see, there's a method here, generate from string on the generator, and it's using parse with an AsyncAPI string, with no options, with no parser options. You see?
Yeah.
So yeah, we should have AsyncAPI string, and then following this, an object with a path option, which will be the path of the file, or or the path of. But the thing is that when you're rendering a string, you don't have any path. You should probably pass it. You should also pass it here. Like, what's the relative path you want to use?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's a string, you're generating a string. There's no path, right? However, and let me check, because so the generate is actually, yeah. Oh yeah, so this is parsing a string and then calling generate the parsing document. So what we're doing here always is, most probably we're going through this function, through this line, and there's no context about the location of this file, which is not a file, it's a string, right? So we should probably be able to pass this path here. right? Like the relative path, so we are able to pass it to the parse method. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
I think Waleed. Waleed is frozen again. I think, yeah, he is frozen again.
I mean, it should be a pretty easy fix.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, it should be pretty easy to fix. We can probably just let's open it so we don't forget.
Yeah.
Or maybe you want to open it and you can take a screenshot of your screen and put it there, Jonas.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's gonna be easier because then I'll have to explain everything and you have a screenshot, which is much better, right? Cool. Cool, so let's go to the agenda. Maybe what happened again?
Same issue.
Same issue. Ooh. Apple Care. So I was saying, yeah, so Jonas is gonna create the issue, so we don't forget fixing it. We know where is it, so it will be easy to fix. But I remember that we discussed this before. I don't know what happened. Maybe we just discussed about it and we forgot to fix it. I don't know. So yeah, two things about the agenda. There are two points in the agenda today, which is a paid collaboration program and repository security. So there are, well, welcome. Let me try to pronounce this without offending anyone. Nishchit. You're mute. We cannot hear you.
Nishchit
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm Nishchit Dhanani.
Okay.
Nice to meet you guys.
Hello.
I know.
So I think you were we were chatting before, right? You were working for JSBot.
Yes, bot.
Okay.
And the fire camp.
And FireCamp, okay. Cool. So yeah. So we were saying there are 2 points in the agenda, which is the pet collaboration program and repository security. And so I don't know what you think about postponing maybe one of them, because especially the repository security, because I would like to count with more people that know much more than us, probably the 4 of us here, about security. And so we can discuss this better, right? Otherwise it will be like, it will be a great chat between the 4 of us, but or maybe, I mean, up to you, really. Sometimes it's just coming up with a list of things to do, like Jonas proposed, or so maybe Jonas, you want to explain what was it about, problem that you found with security there.
Yeah, sure. So right now there's no limitations on what a member of especially the core group, what they can do to the repository. They can do pull requests and they can merge manually without even having the pull request in place.
Mm-hmm.
And the main issue about that is that we have full trust that the systems are not compromised in any way. So even that none of us directly have any wrong intentions, they might not even be at fault that it could happen, that there was some code in the master branch that was not supposed to be there. So the proposal was more or less to get restrictions on the master branch to ensure that it has to go through a pull request, and that pull request have to have at least 2 reviewers before even getting approved, for example.
So yeah, I
yeah,
think that the problem is clear. So for instance, as he was saying, the problem is that anybody inside the organization who's a member of the organization can by default push to master or merge pull request, right? So so the problem is that we have some actions in Travis associated with like pushing tags, for instance, in some repos. So if you push a new tag, it will publish to npm, which is cool, but it can also be a problem because like he was saying, that there has been many cases where people gain your trust, you know, like they make some contributions for a few time, and then once you give them the access to merge pull requests or to push tags, they do nasty stuff, right? Like putting some lines of code or malicious lines of code in your tooling, knowing that this tooling is going to be running on companies' machines, so and they can compromise information, right? So one of the things that I mean, it's true, it's happening, but one of the things that I have in place, at least, is that even though even if I don't review a pull request, if you push to master, I'm gonna get a notification myself. Because I don't know if you know it, but there is a channel on Slack which is called GitHub activity. So everything is going to be logged there, and I'm going to get a notification and I'm going to see what's happening, right? But yeah, again, it's going to be published to npm, so you will have to release a new version, right, to override this. So I think that no, I don't know. Maybe someone can come up with a list of things that or action items that we will have to do to avoid this. Like, I don't know, like installing bots, or I know there are bots that require at least 2 approvals or something like this, or require certain rules to be able to merge pull requests. And I don't know about pushing tags, maybe, and about pushing directly, how we can limit this.
Is it not already in place in GitHub? I think you can already do it.
I don't know, to be honest. It's like, it's been, I'm behind the, you know, so GitHub.
Yeah, I think I did it in one of my projects where I limited the push to master completely, and it has to go through the pull request. And I'm pretty sure that there's complete control over it in GitHub, so there's no need for no external external tools.
So would you like to take this task, like of coming up with a list of action items, or
I can do that.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I can do it myself, but you know, with action items, not necessarily doing them, right? Just like hey, take care of this and that, right? And
yeah,
I think it's gonna be better, because myself, I myself am not very good at security, so, and you told me you're good at security, so
Relative.
or you like or you like it, so it's it will be better, right? Sorry, just a second, 'cause my phone is ringing and this is really annoying. So, yeah. Cool. So next point on the agenda is about paid collaboration program. So again, I don't know, we are not many people here today, but I'm gonna share it anyway. So I was thinking on some kind of paid collaboration programs to give back to the community who are people who are contributing to AsyncAPI, because I think it's unfair that I ask for contributions and I'm making a living myself out of AsyncAPI, and then other people are like spending their free time on that. So in the beginning it's fine because I didn't have any money to give back, but yeah, I think the more sponsors we have, the easier it's gonna get. So we can probably dedicate some money to, I don't know, specific issues or specific tasks, or I don't know, taking care of a specific tool. Don't know yet. So, but before I draft this program, I would like to know your feedback on this. So, how do you feel about this? Like, how do you feel about contributing? How do you feel about getting paid about contribution? I guess you'll find it well. Like nobody is gonna complain about getting paid, right? but yeah, like I don't know, like how much do you think the amount should be, depending on? I mean, it's also depending on the complexity of the issue and all this stuff, right? But if you have some thoughts around it, I would like to hear them, because yeah, before I sit down to draft this program, and so to take into account all the possible feedback, right? Before it's too late. I know there are some programs like Bounty Search. There are some. Let me try to search. There are some services for this. Yes, is this one. So there is this bountysource.com. And this one is actually, is this one? Yeah, so it's actually for this. Like you can put some issues there, GitHub issues there, and assign a value, and so people can work on that. I think the first one who completes the issue is who completes the issue and I mean a validated issue, right? Or the issue gets merged, or pull request gets merged, is the one who's gonna get the money. So probably we can use something like this. I don't know. If you have another ideas, I'm happy to listen.
Yeah, I actually don't have any experience with this at all, so I have no idea what the optimal solution is. But I guess this could be something that's might work.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm asking because I have no experience myself either, so I'll have to explore this. If nobody has experience in this, it's nonsense to keep asking, because you'll be in the same positions as I am. So yeah, cool. So that was a really quick meeting today. If you have questions and questions, or suggestions. I mean, I always call it questions and answers, but I mean, suggestions, or you're having troubles with something and you want to ask for a new feature or whatever. I think that's the right time. Nishchit, I think you lost or you stopped your video, but you can still have audio, right?
Yes, yes, I can follow you guys.
Okay, I want to make sure that that you are included in the meeting.
One point I have is actually oh, go ahead.
This is my first meeting with the AsyncAPI, and let me introduce myself. I am founder of JSpot and FireCamp. Right now, we are implementing some of the specifications from the AsyncAPI in FireCamp. It's still under beta version. So I think onward, I will try to attend almost every meeting because I'm so impressed with the AsyncAPI work, and I'm sure it could be it has the potential to change the entire industry standards, combining all of the rest specifications and protocols within that. So I will try to put as much as value from my side in AsyncAPI. So for this meeting, I think I don't have any questions or any doubts. But from the next meeting, I'm sure I will have something important to share it with you guys.
Cool. So I mean, welcome, by the way. It's your first meeting, so you might not have questions, but I do have questions about. I'm curious about how you see AsyncAPI helping FireCamp product. You know, so why is it? How do you plan to use it? Or I know that you already did something, but as you said, it's beta, so don't know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a great question. Let me share how we are using AsyncAPI. Let me first share what is FireCamp. So FireCamp is a single platform where developer or engineers can test out, debug out every protocol and every technologies. We are saying it right now. It's a protocol agnostic API studio. So developer can test out any APIs regardless of any protocol. For that, we have bifurcated the couple of categories like APIs, GraphQL, and the event message-driven APIs like Socket.io's, WebSocket, SSE, server sent event. Then after our plan is going forward to MQTT. Then after gRPC, RPC, these are in our plan. So now let's take an example. If we have created one project and we have added a multiple requests within that project, like a couple of them are the REST APIs request, couple of are the WebSocket request, one is a gRPC request, and couple of are the WebSocket and Socket.io request, and MQTT as well. So now if we want to export this project, then how we can do it? We have to have some specifications because the export is one file. It will get shared with colleagues, with community. We can put it a public file, so anyone can use it, import it within the FireCamp. So at that point, we are thinking like that: if we will give the support of AsyncAPI, so we can export the whole project within the AsyncAPI, so someone can import it within their system and use it very frequently, very easily.
So I see that, and the reason you want to export it is because you might want to import it in another account or something in the future, or not in the future, but to enable collaboration with people, maybe.
Yes, it may have the couple of use cases, like as you said, if I want to share it with you, I am working on some project and I want to share it with you, then how can I do it? I can export one project with the AsyncAPI specification, and you can import it. Likewise, suppose right now there is a Twilio. Twilio has their own on public APIs, but how can Twilio can expose your entire API specification in a one file? So it is possible if they can export the FireCamp project, and someone can download it and import into the FireCamp, and they can use it very frequently.
Okay, I see what you mean. That's really interesting, man. Cool. I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of questions. If it's gonna be about all technologies, all protocols, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of questions, and you're gonna have a lot of questions.
Yeah, actually, I have seen that right now we are growing. AsyncAPI is growing absolutely. In the future, we would have the couple of extra standard specifications we can cover into that. Actually, at this moment, I'm also learning the AsyncAPI, so I'm not sure how we can use it with the how we can cover the almost every technology and protocol. But I will try to put my app values like whenever we will do the support of MQTT, Kafka, anything else, then I would like to add it into the AsyncAPI.
So every event-driven or every messaging protocol is it's already possible to document with AsyncAPI, but when it comes to documenting things like REST APIs or GraphQL or gRPC, I mean, the spec is not meant for that, right? So AsyncAPI is not meant for documenting any kind of API. It's possible to do some kind of probably nested stuff because you have to misuse the spec, right? You have to use the spec for something that is not built for. But yeah, it's possible. I think it was you who created an issue about the HTTP binding. Like you cannot have multiple methods on a single path. Was it you?
Yes. Actually, I was not aware about that. One of my team member has created those issues.
Okay.
I think it would be a Pranav or Parth.
Let me check. Yeah, but the thing, yeah, and I mean, it makes sense, but also that's like a demonstration that we're not thinking about how to document a REST API or an HTTP API with AsyncAPI. Just a simple endpoint where you can probably send the message and that's it, right? And you, and most of the cases, you only have one endpoint. You don't have all of them.
Yes,
you only have one endpoint with one method, right? Because it's this endpoint is actually like, for instance, think about Kafka. When you want to send a message to Kafka, there is also a HTTP Kafka connector, and you can send messages to Kafka using an HTTP post request. It's just for these cases, right?
Yes.
For this case, or for simple cases like I don't know, you have a HTTP streaming API. You only have one method, one path, and everything hangs from there, right? So
yes,
yeah, we can probably add this to the HTTP binding, so we make it possible, and we can explore this. I mean, if people are interested in that, for sure, we will probably explore it. But yeah, I want people to keep in mind that this is not like a solution for all the APIs.
Okay.
You know, just in case people are thinking about it, AsyncAPI is actually for async APIs, right? For asynchronous APIs, event-driven APIs, and GraphQL, for instance, is not asynchronous. gRPC is not asynchronous. It's kind of, but it's like webhooks with in REST APIs, right? This kind of asynchronous, right? So yeah, it's like asynchronous patterns on top of synchronous protocols. So yeah.
I am completely agree with you because I have also learned that the APIs have a lot of standards. Like OpenAPI specifications is the most adopted till now. So that's completely fine to use the OpenAPI specifications plus async APIs. So if we use both the specifications, then we can definitely cover the lot more things. But I'm not sure about the GraphQL if we could give the support, because the GraphQL has also only one endpoint.
Yeah.
And everything is So there might be some possibilities we can give the better support for them. But still, it's entirely an API, so we can also cover with the API. And GraphQL itself is specification.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So
yeah, there are different specifications because of those reasons, right? Because
yes,
every area, like event-driven APIs, REST APIs, GraphQL APIs, all of them separately are already so huge that trying to unify everything into a single spec will probably pollute the spec a lot, you know, and the spec will become a mess, right? Because people, I think I always tend to imagine this, like many people trying to pull a string, everyone in their own direction, you know, and sometimes the things are going to move in your direction, but sometimes they're going to go there and then there, and you know, it's going to be like the spec in the end is going to be like boom, 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 boom. It's going to be, sometimes it's going to be suitable for you, but and it's going to be a pain and really bad experience for others, right? So that's the reason we are trying to converge. For instance, OpenAPI and AsyncAPI, we're trying to converge on JSON schema specifications. So all schemas that you have on OpenAPI and AsyncAPI, they are shareable, they're interchangeable, right? That you can use whatever you declare for OpenAPI, it's also valid for AsyncAPI, and also the other way around, right? As a way to say that you might have two specifications, but both of them are somehow compatible, right, with each other.
Yes.
So it doesn't need to be a single document for everything, right?
And this is the reason the APIs has a lot of specifications like OpenAPI 2.3, then RML, the Blueprint, the JSON-D.
Yeah.
So that's fine completely. Yeah,
actually, Blueprint, you know, RAML, OpenAPI, they're all attacking the same product, right?
Yes.
So it's not. It wouldn't be like a different kind of spec. Is more. It's more like the same kind, different approach, right?
Yes, exactly.
So yeah. Cool, man. So I mean, thanks for joining today, and I hope we can chat again in 2 weeks. And 2 weeks from now. So remember, we do this meeting every other week, and and yeah, I'm available at any time. Not at any time, but you can leave a message on Slack. Yeah, I sometimes do.
Yeah, sure. You are the most active in Slack.
So yeah, whenever you have a question or something, if I cannot reply, maybe someone from the community can reply. So yeah, feel free to ask. We're here to help. Yeah.
Sure.
Cool,
we'll
folks.
continue the discussion.
Cool, folks. Thanks for joining, and see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye, friends. Bye bye, Lagoni. Bye bye.